back. I have a very, very special guest in the house. Not only is he one of the world's most talented makeup artists, this is JOAN. He works with so many of the women whose makeup I look at and I screen grab and I want to copy, including Ashley Graham, Joan Smalls, Iman, Beyonce. Also, he's just the most beautiful man on my Instagram feed. We're here today. He's signed with L'Oréal Paris, and we're going to talk about some of the new products. We're going to talk about his favourite products that he loves to work with. So let's start with a little bit of a background, because when I was researching you today, you've worked with some of the most iconic makeup artists.
I have. I've had some really great teachers. So I mean, I got my start from Pat McGrath was the first show I ever worked on in New York, Bryant Park at the Tents.
Start small.
Start small. You want me to go back even farther?
No.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, she was the one who I went to see her at the Tents, Bryant Park, and then went to Europe with her for the first time. And then met Charlotte Tilbury, who's been like my fairy godmother and the business, and she introduced me to Beyonce in 2010 at Tom Ford's first women's wear show. It's been, Charlotte's been so amazing, and she's also the one who kind of led me into all of this, you know? So, and then after that, I've had so many other amazing clients. I'm around really strong women every day. So I'm a bit of a feminist, and I do believe that women run the world.
And is it true that you started on the MAC counter?
Yeah, so I actually...
So many great makeup artists started on counter.
You know what I think is really great about working in a cosmetics counter is that you see like 30 to 40 women come into your counter every day from different walks of life all around the world. So, and you have to assess the needs or their needs immediately. So they come from everywhere from Harlem to Hong Kong, and you have to see what do they need, what can I help them with, what's their cultural differences, and how can we unify that?
Now, I know for a fact, oh, by the way, we're in a really busy venue, so if it gets a bit noisy, just forgive us, because we're setting up for the next event. But I know for a fact that you must get approached by so many makeup brands. Tell me why L'Oréal Paris?
But I do work with other companies. I have 2 licensing deals, so I have products coming out with 2 different companies this year. And I'm also co-executive producer of a show on Lifetime called American Beauty Star on Wednesday nights.
Which we need to get in the UK. Let's campaign now.
But you know, for me, what I loved about L'Oréal was the fact that I love their mission statement of increasing a women's sense of self-worth. For me, as a guy, you know, I work around really strong women, and I just believe you need to empower the women in your community. You need to empower the women you're around. You need to, and it impacts not just their day, but when you empower a woman, she takes that home with her, she impacts her household, which impacts the world.
For me, L'Oréal Paris are the first, you call it drugstore, we call it high street makeup brand, to be truly inclusive. In the sense that for me, it's about all skin tones, all size women, all ethnicities, all genders, all ages, and I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about the True Match campaign and what that was and how symbolic that was 10 years ago, I mean,
so many people have tried to copy that.
Yeah, I mean, we live in the 40 shades, you know, the 50 or 40 shades generation, but I think that, you know, looking at this company, they've always been a champion for diversity and inclusion. And to your point, it's not just about complexion or race or, you know, gender, but it also is about body image and body size. So inclusivity runs the gamut and runs parallel through so many different genres.
Now, we're here today, obviously, to talk about some of the new products, but let's talk about the new Infallible
Concealer. Okay, cool. So
now, you get more shades in the States than we do here, but we have 25 shades in the UK?
So 25 shades in this baby, yeah. So 25 shades in this concealer and over 30 shades in the foundation. And so what I love about the concealer is, first of all, I love this doe foot applicator. So I love the fact that this huge jumbo applicator is like an easy, quick hack of like, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna do a dot here, dot under the eye, and one on the side, one on the sides of the nose, and all that is gonna give you the perfect placement for concealer. One thing you don't wanna do, so we see so many women on Instagram or YouTube slathering themselves with concealer.
I knew what you were gonna say.
It's like the blind leading the blind. So I know that you're doing that with concealer, but I want you to use less foundation, ladies, less concealer. You don't need to. You can dial down the coverage in 2019. It's just not modern.
Do you think matte makeup is going to make a huge return in 2019?
Well, I think matte makeup is not going to go anywhere because, you know, some people have oily skin concerns. Some people love to look, for example, we're on television. So when you're on TV, you need matte skin. because you don't want to look like a huge grease ball.
That makes me feel so much better. Why I grew up in TV, so I always think like
matte skin.
Yeah, matte skin.
Or going for
also
a
the
matte
Kevin
appearance.
O'Quan, you know that sort of. I grew up in that era.
But you have to think about it. On the contrary, there also is a situation where everyone who has, if you leave the spot, your skin is going to glow. If you have healthy skin, your skin is going to glow. If you go to Barry's Bootcamp or Soul Cycle or whatever that looks like, you have a luster. Healthy skin is light reflective. Ladies, if you had great sex with your husband or your boyfriend, your skin is going to be glowy. It's not going to be super matte. So I think that glowing skin is not going to go anywhere. I think that you have to choose between a matte or a glow, but they're both running parallel. So they're both here to stay.
And I also think they can work on the same face depending
At the
on
same
where you
time.
put them.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So strategically place your glow. You can be matte everywhere and give yourself a glow on the sides of your face.
Well, this is one product we're here to talk about today. Can I just say that before we came on air, Sir John used this on his face, which blew my mind. Let's talk about this because this is the Infallible Magic Loose Powder, which is so white it's a little bit blue.
I'm going to tell you guys a tip. So this is something I swear by. Ladies, I don't think you should ever use a pressed powder to set your concealer. So when you put your concealer on, never use a pressed powder because it's heavy and dry. Anything heavy and dry is a recipe for aging. And so it's not going to be flattering. It doesn't matter if you're 8 or 88. Use loose powder only around the eyes. And the reason I love this loose powder is because here's a test. So here's to tell if your loose powder is really a good one. You see that blow? You see how it still is in the air and it doesn't drop immediately? If you do like this and your particles drop, that means that this particle...
That's actually going up. That's lighter than air. That's impressive.
So if your powder drops, it's too heavy for your eye area. So I have something, I say this. You know how everyone bakes? I don't bake, I cook. You know, and when I say that, I don't bake, I cook, that means that there's no reason for tons of powder around the eyes, tons of powder around the jawline. It's just not flattering.
Okay.
So now we're going to go on to a foundation. So foundation is with the brick and mortar. Ladies, this is literally the blueprint for a great complexion is a beautiful foundation. So I'm using this one here. This is called Infallible Fresh Wear. And the reason I like it is because it is fuller coverage. Actually, let me see your chin. This is fuller coverage, but what I love about it is that it's layerable.
Sir John touched my face. I've arrived.
This is layerable. You can layer it, ladies. And if you notice, when you use your finger, your body heat changes the texture of makeup. So use your finger to warm up your foundation, warm up your concealer. It's okay to use a beauty blender. Did you happen
to choose the right color?
I think I did. It just happens to be...
Be careful, please don't get on your gorgeous clothes.
But I also used an egg sponge. I like to use an egg sponge and dot and stipple it on. So when your skin is wet from your moisturizer, is the best time to apply your foundation. So when your skin dries, when your moisturizer dries, your foundation is going to adhere in a really organic way.
Be careful with that,
I will.
please. We need a wipe.
Can we get a wipe on set?
Please. Yeah, seriously, I don't want it to go on these gorgeous clothes. Other products that you love that I will always find in your kit.
Okay.
So can I just say, I see a mascara with your name on it.
Well, I happen to be a huge fan and friends with the Marc Jacobs line. And so Marc Jacobs sent me this beautiful mascara, and it happens to have my name on the back. So that was really sweet. Thanks, Marc Jacobs.
Which mascara is it?
This mascara is called...
oh, you've got better eyesight than I have.
Velvet Noir. So Velvet Noir mascara is beautiful. It has a beautiful fiber-rich brush, which is great. It's great for falsies or the ones at the bottom. But also, I love brushes. So if you guys know, I went to school for art and art history for a long time. So brushes are my thing. I mean, they're such a vehicle to my past personally. But there's this company called Smith. Smith brushes are beautiful. They're two sisters in Portland, Oregon, who started this company. It's a very small company, but they make the softest, most beautiful brushes. And no matter where I go, as soon as I set up my station, everyone compliments these brushes. So ladies, go to smithbrushes.com. These are so amazing. So
is your rule to use your hands for the base? You were talking about the warmth of your hands and maybe a beauty blender, but then when you start to apply color, it's brushes?
Colors, brushes, loose powder is brushes. It's gonna be brushes for your bronzer or to warm up your blush, you know? Also, get into a habit of using a fluffier brush for your application of blush. So the tighter the brush head, remember, it's going to be a streakier application. It's going to give you fuller, dense application of product. So a big, fluffy brush is always a win.
That's an amazing tip. That's so true. It gives you less control over where it goes, but in a way you want that soft focus effect, don't you?
Diffuse airbrush finish.
Let's talk about this palette because...
Yeah, okay, cool. So one of my cool...
The lady that originally shaped my eyebrows 10 years ago. Oh, yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of Anastasia. Anastasia Beverly Hills, she has this palette. It's a brow palette. But look how many shades. I mean, these are so many amazingly... But it's the supernatural naturals. These are supernatural neutrals, I would like to say.
What did you say? You said, I have to show you this palette because I use it for everything.
I use it for everything.
What do you use it for apart from brows?
Love, I use this on brows. I use this as a quick eyeshadow. I mean, look how many tones come here. I also use this to contour cheekbones and noses. So, I mean, not just for contouring, for eyelids, for brows, it's really a one-stop shop, and it's great for a kit on the go. So a woman on the go, this is really great because there's so many convertible pieces in here you can use all the time. Last but not least, I want to show you the Rouge Signature Lips. So I love these babies because I'm a huge fan of matte lips, but sometimes they're too dry. And so I'm going to give you a hack. If you're using matte lips all the time, start to use eye cream on your lips instead of lip balm. Lip balm changes the texture of your matte lipstick, ladies. So I'm going to use this little guy here.
Mind blown. That's so clever. It's true.
It is, it is. And then, you know, and also the skin on your eyes and the skin on your lips is so thin, it's almost transparent. So this is a beautiful applicator. I love it because you don't need a lip liner. And then it goes on with a really nice wash of dense color.
What eye creams do you like?
Am
I going to put you on the spot there?
So I like La Prairie has a great one, the white caviar. Also, who has a really good one? I think Dr. Perricone, I think, has a really great lifting eye cream as well.
We have another person in common.
Who?
Dr. Dendy.
Dr. Dani, this is my dermatologist. She's the woman who saves me. Like
Your skin is beautiful.
I've had a little help. Dr. Dani, hi Dr. Dani. So she's my dermatologist in New York, and she's the one who taught me about microneedling, about staying out of the sun. I mean, I've done the vampire facial with her, where they spin your blood and plasma and they put it back. And so I'm always a guinea pig for good skin, ladies. But
You're telling me you didn't wake up like that?
I didn't wake up like this. I've ran into a really good dermatologist. How do you know Dr. Dani?
Because she came over here and did a series of talks with us, and I always follow. I'm obsessed with skincare, so I always follow really good dermatologists. She's lovely. Thank you. Who is your makeup muse?
Who's my makeup muse? You might be my new makeup muse. I'm gonna say.
Smooth talking as well as talented. Is it Joan Smalls?
You know what?
Because I love the Joan.
I love Joan. You know what?
JS times
JSXJ. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a real fan.
Yeah, you are. I love Joan because Joan's a makeup in her head. She knows makeup just as well as I do. Like she can do makeup really well on herself, and she's the one. She's like, I'm gonna research a look, and you research a look, and let's come together. And so she has just as much fun prepping for a look as I do as a makeup artist. So I always appreciate a girl who loves makeup, someone who loves to play. Sometimes celebrities, a lot of celebrities, and a lot of ones I work with, they don't always love makeup. You know, they just
they fall asleep, don't they, in the chair?
Yeah,
I'll just wake up in an hour and I'll look amazing.
They're so used to having great makeup every day that they don't really appreciate the art of getting ready. But one thing I love about, even the women, think about the women, the Middle Eastern women, they love the art of getting ready. Even our grandmothers, like the women in the 1930s and the 40s, they appreciated, they had vanities. They sat there, they had a loose powder, they had a huge brush. They weren't always, everything didn't have to be compact and ready to go. So sometimes I want you ladies to dial back. I know it's convenient to have a pressed powder, but heavy powder is not good for you. Loose powder is the way to go. So if you have to take an extra 5 minutes or 3 minutes to use it loose powder with a big brush like this one from Smith, go for it.
Now, talking of women that enjoy the process of creating art, which is what you do, you worked on the visual album that Beyonce had. Do you have to storyboard every look?
Yeah, so we
Tell me about that creative process, because that blows my mind. For a start, if ever I have it on my computer and it's my most played album ever on my computer, it distracts me because it's so visually stunning. I want to work.
You mean Lemonade? Or you mean Lemonade?
Yes.
So okay, so not the self-titled, but Lemonade. So for Lemonade, we it was a moment where she wanted to give a cultural reference, and she wanted to evoke a mood. And for me, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a new album, cool. So I'm gonna do all this glamorous stuff and all these looks from the 70s, Bianca Jagger this and Jerry Hall that. And then I realized that when I came to see her and sat with the team, it was something, they were storytelling. It was a different thing. So it wasn't about glamour. It wasn't about 3 lashes or individual this, but it was about how can I use makeup to create an emotion, a connection. How can I use makeup to reflect a mood? And as a makeup artist, that's a bit more challenging than just dolling someone up. So for me, it was about giving her a glossy eye, structural, architectural contours in the cheeks, making her look sad at times, making her look very happy, making her look polished and austere, but making her look
like a warrior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal.
But makeup is arsenal. Makeup is pain. Makeup is war paint. And for someone who doesn't agree with that, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I was assisting someone, I won't name any names, and someone on set yelled at an assistant. And so this assistant, mind you, she has red hair, very fair, but she went in her bag immediately. She's a grown woman, went in her bag and pulled out this deep burgundy dark lipstick, started putting it on the mirror. So I'm just like so puzzled and curious why. But I said, why are you doing that? So she's like, I'm gonna go have a chat with him, and I want him to see every word that's coming out of my mouth. And in that moment, I realized, damn, makeup or lipstick isn't just lipstick. It's an arsenal. It's a war paint. It's something that you do to get ready to brace your day, to brave the rapids. So like next time you're thinking about lipstick as a frivolous choice, it does change the needle emotionally inside.
The whole storyboarding of that entire thing is just so impressive.
Yeah.
It is a visual work of art. I absolutely love it. Did you have a moment in your career when you thought, a bit like when you touch my chin, I've arrived? Did you have a moment where you just thought that guy off the counter thinks, I'm here?
You know, for me, it's like, so there's this saying, Romans say, never rely on past glory. So, you know, yesterday's win is always yesterday's win. So, you know, as a person who, you know, I consider myself to be a little bit ambitious, you don't really care about what happened yesterday. So even if you wake up the next day after Coachella and thinking, oh yeah, that was cool, that was yesterday. So I'm always thinking about what's next. But I had to get into a place where I started to appreciate what's happening now. So for me, yeah, I'm happy about my contracts. I'm happy that I broke down barriers for men, for people all around the world, and I'm happy about the show I have. You know, I'm an executive producer. For me, I was like, I fought for that role. I was like, I'm not just going to do this just to do this, to be on the show. I don't need TV. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to create the content. And also, I have a few licensing deals now. So I just feel like every day I'm here, every day I'm waking up and breathing another day. And
do you still love beauty? Do you still enjoy it?
I love beauty. You know what I love? I love beauty. It's my love. That's such a good question. Wow. My love has changed for beauty. Sometimes so if you ever have any friends who are dancers or musicians or whatever they do in an artistic form, when they started doing it and they weren't getting paid for it, there was so much love for it. But when you monetize an artistic career, it changes how you feel about the art, you know? So there was a while I wasn't happy I didn't care about the art because there was just so much business and contracts and dates around everything. So I had to get into a place where I loved the art again. And I'm starting to love the art again. Thank you for that question.
If you could do anybody's makeup, whose makeup would you do?
Okay, so I get this question sometimes, right? And
bearing in mind you already work with all the people I tick off on my list. Ashley Graham.
I've been blessed to work with some really, really amazing women. So the women that I would love to work with actually are no longer alive. So I'll tell you who they were. If I could have, you know, dead or alive, it would be Elizabeth Taylor, for sure. You know, beauty, I mean, like Elizabeth Taylor.
Those eyes, that's beautiful eyes.
Diana Ross in the 70s. And also I would love to bring it all the way back, and I would have loved to have done Nefertiti's makeup.
That's an interesting one.
Or go back to Cleopatra, like women whose beauty, these women that we say these names like Cleopatra, but their beauty regimens are over 2,000 years old. We still reference Cleopatra when we talk about the feline flick.
It's absolutely true. Do you know the two most common answers when I ask that is normally the Queen, our Queen, Queen meets Sir, or Cher, actually.
Cher, wow. Oh my gosh, Cher. Cher in the 70s, I mean, like,
still an icon today.
Still an icon. If Cher came in here now, we're still going to give her as much love as we would have gave her in 72.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And makeup artists that you've been inspired by?
Charlotte Tilbury for sure.
Darling.
I mean, I want to say I credit so much of what happened to me in my career to Char. So Charlotte Tilbury, Sam Fine, this guy named Sam Fine.
Yes, of course.
Kevin Aquan, I've never met him. This is way before my time, but when I saw the documentary, I've seen this documentary. Guys, you have to see this documentary.
It's so good on Netflix.
I never knew the heights of his career. Like he was a celebrity. I mean, his book opening had Tina Turner and Liza Minnelli. All these women are coming. Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, all that were at his book signing. Like that doesn't happen ever. And
do you know I met him? He was signed to Avon.
Yeah.
He was so lovely.
Was he?
He was such a lovely man. Really beautiful. Very tall as well. Very handsome.
Wow. That's so mind-boggling to me. But yeah, those are the people I've been so impacted by, and
Yeah, I agree. Your favourite ever Beyonce look, because I want to drop in some looks.
Yeah.
Is it possible to say a favourite Beyonce look? And is it possible to say a favourite Ashley Graham look or a Joan Smalls look? Because I want to show the people out there how talented you are.
So my favorite Ashley Graham look is we did the cover of Glamour magazine, and I loved her, just beautiful. We did like no makeup. It was really, really fresh and clean. So that was my favorite thing we've done with Ashley. With Joan Smalls, my favorite thing I've done with her was the recent. So I don't like the red carpet photos, but I like every other photo. Was the Met Ball recently. But also, I mean, Joan and I have done so many. If you Google denim liner, Joan and I will come up. We coined the phrase of denim eyes. So I mean, that's a whole different thing. And then Beyonce, I love when she was pregnant at the Grammys and she was golden and gilded, and I painted her body gold. But also, yeah.
I found another glamour cover you did that just blew my mind.
Serena.
Serena Williams.
That was good too, yeah.
Oh my God. So when you turned up on Lemonade, did you do Serena's as well, makeup as well?
I did, yeah. So I basically got Serena together, and I love Serena.
Videos.
I mean,
oh, who doesn't?
Yeah, she's such a sweet soul and gentle and just nice. And you know, one thing I love is, you know, some of these women they're the most powerful women of our time, you know, but they still speak to the janitor. They still speak to the person who's sweeping the room. And I'm not just that, like my mom taught me that. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. Like, you need to be nice to everybody. You never know who's sweeping the room now. Could be the big fashion director at some big company later on. And it's just one of those things where character means I'm nice to people who could do nothing for me.
He's brilliant, isn't he? I knew he would be. I knew he'd be full of amazing tips. If you've seen him on TV, you know how inspirational he is. By the way, you as LL Cool J, might drop a brow. I'm going to find that picture and drop it in. That's like the combination of my two sexiest men of all time. Thank you so much. I made you blush. I really appreciate your time today and all your energy and efforts, and most of all, I appreciate you for working with all the women that I most admire. So I really appreciate
And I
that.
love your questions and your vibe, and we're both Cancerians, so July 7th, July 1st.
You're probably about 20 years younger than me, but that's fine.
I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sir John. I will put all the links of all the latest L'Oreal products the minute that you counter down below. Also the Anastasia palette, the Marc Jacobs mascara, and if I can, I'll find a UK stockist for the brushes too. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
Bye guys.